Yedanyamiase. Yenya press release be from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. In fact, Nipa de Sasha say Joyce Ba Mukta. Na ninyina say Edwada Mobile and Youth Manifesto. It's a bit new, isn't it?
Actually, BBI said Krum didn't see that now. The NDC who said it didn't make any meaningful impact or share the total population of the country. I never Emma Adolson and His Excellency who said I was there in the woman a palm from Kubia said about the German penny and that's on it never a palm from Kubi and on opportunity in the Youth Manifesto in policies are Sinyamia Domina, His Excellency John Mahama in your Aquina Sombra German penny. Nyama potina peso yema Ghana nebunu na Ghana mine 2.9 nebunu abrabo so ekoyi eno na jade ya ebe 12 August International Youth Day or the betum nebunu any program ni in two parts and pardon ebisia ewo UPSA Ofikunedo Auditorium honomo na Ghana nebuna sabe omo Niema here more is some coastal mining problems I face here. No, on my penny, penny for at Adrian. Niema GDC said the two jar and I had the barbon here, the bois. Now a kind about a Mebuna Brabo, and there nobody can't to jar Amapa. Now, the numerary, the court becomes square near Quacker town hall meeting. And we invited Ghana this year, or a senior person will be so my penny. So they are the media engagement of Saturday, President Mama, the Tnabuko Square Honomona, Ghana, Mebuno. I think how question be our word, Dawa Kumaso, Ranabe Bisano, the Upeseote, the idea of Pano, Kanya, one tears, and South Panabeza, policies are ye ready. It's Unyaquina and Bisaqua or Honomo. It's a numerino, wow. Some I can plano. Near my day to their Antoa Sumi, their one fear. Babucom Square, Boxing Arena, Honoma, na baby His Excellency question be up so be sunny be a fat a can call in Punctio, in Jumasem, education, a Apomodin, BBR, a mindful governance, corruption. BBL Akumasibi Brana Baby Sana, not only you are no. And they've had a conversation with President Mahama Kwanya. If they say, Bossa, if they say, Ghana, they say, Kwanya, if they say, your first executive. And I anchor, yes, you can't say, you can see a women's banker, then trust, yeah, Kifan, your professor can see, Kwanya Ben. So those are the things we intend to deal with, Sadana.
UPS said him say school for harder than T Mejidi say mo manifesto I mean the hall will be filled with school for Buko Marina in Crawford more frail more invitation. Media encounter was strictly by invitation. And no san ne bekwa kwaye. Ebeye school for ebeye edwedi for mebunu. Ebeye mebunu ben what kind of a mebunu na mo here kwa so meba Buko Marina?
Yes, sending invitations to various stakeholders, especially youth groups, and associations, youth tag, NUCs, the various SRCs, and then the Okada for James around. The beer organizations are maybe but as I open arena as a few over 5,000, you know, as I extend the open invitation. Ghana India. That is why now I issue statements that Ghanaian youth are concerned. There is an open invitation. I also meet me a baby. In Obama auditorium me a man arena honya man dia bring a baby atma. That is what it is.
YɛnNsɛmpa mobile and mo main manifesto our central region now mobile and youth manifesto. Is this youth manifesto going to be part of the main lunch? And I said much than a person team.
The main manifesto is broader and bigger. Main manifesto now cover areas youth no cover. For instance, on the agri front, the main manifesto will delve more into details what our policies for agriculture, how we intend to revive the cocoa industry and what have you. The youth manifesto will rather focus on young people who venture into agric, what kind of incentives and I more. So the manifesto is a bigger and a broader document. This youth manifesto is just a nickname to youth manifesto, but it is more or less our policies for young people when we are in government. The manifesto is the main document, and the social contract in Ghana for MFI. When you talk about maybe healthcare, the youth manifesto focuses on issues of maybe sanitary pads, and then young people who are omunya kidney yari, how government intends to deal with it and support them. What government plans are for young people who venture into a nursing, school, the youth manifesto focus on Sanyamano. But healthcare, bigger kidney problems, cancer problems, home care. So we have a broader policy for the manifesto, but things specific to young people are usually along the line. There are lots of bigger manifestos now. It gets lost because of the bigger issues. No, people don't pay attention to signing money. For instance, we are a Juma or a master craftsman on Juma, but only certificate because we go to school.
Moko listening to
deal with such people.
Moko listening to be able to factor all these into your manifesto. My whole committee I must start Moko in the Mebuno. One major issue they raised along all the regions Moko, you know. Mo putting that together, dear Bako Bang, and then don't Makoma say, you more papa, you more boss.
Unemployment. Ejuma. What we saw when we went around all the 16 regions, Ejuma, the first one, those who have skills but are being underemployed, or in Indiana, or was skilled now, also the Ejuma, but skilled now, or no, and young Ejuma, and all ye. But they toss me, you know, their only skill be uncle suku. Now, so only skill, it's only me, you may be any. And not their sabi, or what skill, but only Juma. So there are three categories. Or what skill, no, or where Juma, but his skill is being underutilized because, and yes, Juma and all ye. So even though he's employed, he's being underemployed because only job satisfaction with man or because they don't want man or their only skill be only education and only education and at your work education and our work skill, but only education. And that is the biggest and most dangerous thing confronting in democracy. And the levels of unemployment are even across the country, it is a big danger to our democracy. The second one is about education. The dangers of free SHS. Because the dangers of free SHS are they bring and I go through secondary education. But education I end the honor because tertiary education is still a challenge. And the most dangerous people are people who are semi-educated. They can read and write, but they are not gainfully employed and have no skill. So it between an employer. And they become threats to democracy because they can be leveraged easily by people who want to cause mayhem and do evil in the country, like terrorists, robbers, because he has knowledge. Once he can read and write, now the left from the writer. Because he's not employed, and that pressure alone can lead him to commit many crimes because he also wants to remain relevant in society. And that was what we saw. Education, when I talk education, that gap between secondary and tertiary. And Oma go through school area, and so when you're Jumanya, and more money skill, they are money education, and more work skill, but they are being under employed now. those were the places that is the biggest problem confronting the Ghana.
And I'm sure this manifesto addresses
there are other issues. There are other issues like rent. For instance, when you're university, about class of the national service, it should be 2 years rent. I cook national service, it should be 2 years rent. When you're those were so rent is also a big issue, especially in the metropolitan and cosmopolitan areas. And then the other issue we saw along the line, the issue of corruption. Most of them acknowledge the fact that corruption is still a problem. Without it means it will create many opportunities for them. For instance, the issue of Sicilia, the party and the Southern Party. Imagine what $1 million can do in my village of Kotoge. If you Kotoge, $1 million in Kotoge will almost employ every young person in that area in various sectors. Basically, Sobako from Party. And so there were concerns about that. Say, hey, Sobako for the Oshobola so crowd 1 million. It's me, we are on the day, we don't need to say we are 1 million, bear 1 year. And then the one so corruption was also an issue.
And I'm sure.
Healthcare was also a challenge. And the health insurance is in and a lot of them expressed their dissatisfaction and the challenges. And you are not facing internet bump and then bump kidney area, and so many other challenges. And then the other one was on mining. The devastating effects of mining on our environment. Some young people were concerned. Those who wasn't environment issues and say about how they have been treated as Ghanaians compared to foreigners. And the frustrations they go through when they even want to do legitimate mining. And so there were various issues. Now, on Monday, we will speak to most of these issues and put forward the Ghanaian plan, vision.
Right.
The vision of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. It's in Melbourne.
One place I'm Melbourne is social media. I mean, a platform There's a campaign ongoing now with social media describing John Mahama's policies for the youth as Okada, or the Okada na me babe license Okada for abe streamlining or my yejuma, and then the other side on the same social media is propagating the fact that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia would give the youth access to this digitalization or diaba. I don't know, as a youth organizer, national, if you've seen these campaigns on social media, and if somebody says John Mahama is giving Okada and Bawumia is giving digitalization, what you would say?
Is it people who don't appreciate and understand the issues, and mostly NPP apparatchiks, and getting into that kind of campaign. There were two types of young people, or two types of youth. There were aspirational and non-aspirational. There were so they spend all their day looking at issues of the ICT, let me put it in broader perspective. The NDC has a policy of training 1 million coders. It was in our manifesto in 2020, it is still in our manifesto. The NDC is talking fintech and making funds available for startups. The NDC laid the foundation for digitalization to start. President Mahama in 2014-2015, and they laid fiber optic cables across the country. NDC, the Accra Digital Center and the Command Center, to be the takeoff for digitalization in this country. It is the NDC that built all these ICT centers scattered across the country, and the Haruna Idrisu as Communications Minister and Dr. Mane Wama. And so Nipana Ole Foundation, Nipana Ole Fiber Optic, Nipana will build the digital centers, Nipana will see ICT centers now across the country. One friend who start digitalization. The buyer on fashion car, our best food the Anipana and on their friend on digitalization, but doesn't it beat your understanding? On Monday, the NDC will speak to ICT and infrastructure development in that respect, and how we intend to even make data cheaper and affordable. Nipana will lay foundation in the framework, and will leverage you also no. Or don't pay digitalization. Now, I'll buy our own fashion car. What I'll pay digitalization. You cannot speak to the youth of this country and focus on only the aspirational. There are your social media. There are your access to ICT. We are not in the majority. Okay? If you travel in the hinterlands and you see how people travel from, and how people commute from one place to the other, you will not downplay the role Okada plays in that economy. And now we'll travel around this country. Now who they can do for Mahama can do, so yellow, Now who the means of transporter, you will not downplay. The youth is not just the aspirational youth. And so the NDC has policies to cover for the aspirational and that of the unaspirational. You cannot only look at building a country with Sebi Omomako school because we are in a third world country where we have a lot of illiterates at Omunko school. So your policies must also look at them and how life will be made easier for them. Mind you, you're a social democratic party. You're a social democratic party. And so we look at equality and equity. And, they can continue with some with gymnastics, no more social media. No, our policies cut across. Yen you can say 1 million could but mind you, you are in government already. Who will be maybe your man in Mebununa? Why haven't you done it? What are you waiting for? Are you not vice president? You should spare us. And let's get serious with the main issues that will drive this campaign and lead the NDC back to the Flagstaff House.
Yeah, now I say, Edwada, you ever be TB, that fear, my Mebununa to the more. Yes, you hear that's Papa, Dom, Mebunu Dom, Fred for another National Youth Organiser, George Opare Addo, and our ten in Kalejwada, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Dwada, Mebunu da, Wamola and Show Youth Manifesto, which sounds new. And then, Omo Ebe Shia Mebunu, Bukum Arena, a home common, any attribute.
Onua 95.1 FM. Yeah, Junimo.